Yo, Sanjay Uchiha here, people, bringing you my review on Boruto Naruto Next Generation's episode 12, titled Mitsuki and Boruto, or is it Boruto and Mitsuki? Anyway, whatever. Let's get right into it. So, coming right off the episode, actually, I was fairly impressed at the structure of this episode, to say the least. I know I've said it like time and time again in my previous reviews where Boruto is concerned, and I'm specifically referring to the fact that I always mention that these recent episodes don't follow the generic structure of the villain of the week, basically. And that's always a plus, but really and truly beyond that, what I really loved about this episode is that it really, surprisingly pushed the plot forward. Like, halfway through the episode, it was, even though it wasn't really pushing the plot forward, I was enjoying it still, and I didn't expect it to push the plot forward, but to even get what we got plus pushing the plot forward puts this episode at a good at least, people. So getting right into it, so we start off the episode with Mitsuki talking to his little snake companion, or well, it's not summoning, but he has snakes on him, and he basically states that it's the weapon they're using to harvest chakra, this relating to the ghost incident, it's a heirloom of the foundation that Danzo used to lead. So we pretty much put that together already from, if not last week's episode, the episode before that. So there was that as well. But what really stood out to me in this episode, it felt very character driven where Boruto and Mitsuki is concerned. On Boruto's side, we kind of get stuff we already knew, but we kind of find out that he has mixed feelings on the subject matter of if he hates or likes his dad. And on Mitsuki's side, he's trying to figure out why everybody's really driven, or they gravitate towards Boruto. And we kind of see interesting tidbits of their character throughout the episode through that central theme or objective that these characters have in this episode. Early on, and what even made the episode even better, we had some throwbacks to, I'd say, Kakashi's bell test, because after the opening, we get a little exercise by the class where everybody's trying to work as a team to get to this objective. It's like a time trial, basically. And at the end of it, we find out that everybody fails. And during this time trial, it was Mitsuki, Boruto, and Denki on a team together. And Denki was the one pulling out the team. And during the time trial, Boruto helped him out, which really surprised Mitsuki. And Mitsuki himself decided to help out Denki, with the time trial, even though they failed the time trial because of trying to help Denki, when they could have both just went to the finish line and completed the mission. And at the end of it, we find out that Konohamaru and I think it's Moegi, the girl that was on Konohamaru's team, which I must say her adult design is basically, she looks really good. She's aged wonderfully, I suppose. But yeah, we find they've all failed, and that they reiterate that the same, how should I put it, the same lesson that Kakashi was trying to teach Naruto, that teamwork is essential. And with the exception of Boruto's team, none of the teams really worked as in fact worked as a team, and that caused everybody to fail. So there was that. And it's really and truly after this that we see Mitsuki throughout the episode observing Boruto and seeing him helping out people. I kind of felt like we were seeing a different side of Boruto. He was there helping out people. It wasn't too exciting during this part, but it was still kind of interesting to see in its own rights, because I know a lot of fans are saying that Boruto is just this knockoff Naruto who's spoiled and don't understand anything about Naruto's job. But I kind of felt like we saw a different side of Boruto this episode, and it really, I don't know, I just found it pretty entertaining. I think it's very cool to watch, seeing Boruto help out people. And what I liked about it as well is that when Mitsuki asks Inojin, this is the son of Sai and Ino, why do they gravitate towards him? And he basically says that, Boruto, he basically doesn't care about other people's opinions, really and truly. He's worked his way out of the whole, because people would say, you know, you're the Hokage's son, but he kind of gets everything on a silver platter, or he gets the golden spoon, but he's worked his way to kind of go beyond those opinions and reach the point where he doesn't really care. Other people's opinions don't really bother him. He does what he has to and all of that. So there's that. We also had some good character interactions in this episode as Boruto invites over Mitsuki in this episode as well to his house, which was pretty interesting. And we get Naruto coming home, meeting Mitsuki for the first time. Well, Naruto's heard of him, but that was cool. And during the time when Boruto and Mitsuki are in Boruto's room, it was kind of cool seeing Mitsuki give Naruto the acknowledgement that is saying, hey, Naruto's just this cool guy. We kind of get a contrast here. Saying Naruto's this cool guy. He's got crazy amounts of chakra. He's arguably the strongest among the 5 Kage, which I love that they kind of cement that. We get another character saying it, because we know Naruto's pretty OP on this whole Naruto character scale. So it was good getting that. But we get this contrast with Boruto saying that Naruto's not really that cool. He's a good for nothing. He eats ramen. He doesn't help out around the house. All of that. So it's interesting to see the contrast, the different perspectives of the character of Naruto from his own son and an outsider of the family. So that was cool. But Mitsuki asked him, you know, do you hate or like your dad? And Boruto can't really give a clear answer because it's understandable. He has mixed feelings on it. He loves his dad, but he hates that his job is really taking away from the quality time with him and his family. So I kind of like that Boruto himself still has that internal struggle. And it's at this point when when they're having dinner that Naruto and he's there having dinner with him, and back at the office, and this kind of proves a point I've always been saying, but back at the office, Shikamaru tells Naruto, and this is the part that advances the plot, that there's the chakra involved in the ghost incident spreading all over the village, and Sai's already looking into it, but eventually we found that what's at the office is a clone and what's home is a real thing. So it kind of answers my question, like why does Naruto just use clones more often at work, and so he can spend more time with his family? Not ridiculous amounts of extra time, but but whatever. So he gets up, he leaves for work, even though Shikamaru said you can probably stay for a while. And of course Boruto flares up, say it's always work, it's always cause you're the Hokage. Naruto tries to say, I'm the Hokage, everyone in the village is my family and all of that. But I think, honestly speaking, Boruto had a stronger arc. I know usually people would be on Naruto's side, I think, but I think Boruto had a stronger argument in this episode, and we get an interesting perspective on the Hokage. What the Hokage is, at least to Boruto. And during Naruto we get opinions on what the Hokage is. The Naruto saying the Hokage is the one who walked in front of people and doesn't let his comrades die and all of that. But during the conversation with Boruto and Mitsuki after that scene, Boruto says I don't think this is word for word, but he basically says the Hokage. He says he's never home because he's the Hokage. He doesn't spend quality time with his family because he's the Hokage and all of that. And it was kind of cool seeing Boruto acknowledge that there was a time before he became the Hokage that he spent with his family, but ever since then, it just feels like the Hokage is this person that sacrifices the people that are close to him for the sake of the village. So I think that was an interesting take for the episode, honestly speaking. And by the end, we have Mitsuki telling Boruto that, hey, I know who's behind the ghost incidents. And before I do my conclusion for this review, we got this scene with Mitsuki and the class rep, which I believe Sawyer 7 Mage had a theory that, hey, she was the one that's basically involved in or behind the ghost attacks, and it seems that was the case because we got one scene in this episode where the tone was completely indicating that I keep forgetting her name, but yeah, the class rep is definitely involved. We find out that she doesn't have any family. Her dad was a ninja, but she herself isn't as good a ninja as her dad, and stuff like that. So it does seem like the class rep may be involved in or is responsible for the attacks and all that. I even got a flashback of her and who I assume is her mom. So that was an interesting scene as well. We got a lot of Mitsuki interacting with various characters in the episode, and I like that. But in conclusion, I really like this episode. It didn't really stay in one place for too long, so we basically got entertained with different aspects of what's going on from Boruto, well, mainly Mitsuki's perspective, but good nonetheless. So it was a pretty good episode. Character interaction, dynamic. It didn't feel stagnant for too long or anywhere, to say the least. Interesting dialogue here and there, but yeah, it was a great episode of Boruto, and based on how things are going next week, this arc seems like it's going to conclude. And I must say, these latter episodes have been pretty decent, to say the least. I'm really starting to enjoy Boruto, and I hope you are too. But if you like this review, let me know what you think. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.